So as I was saying, man, they'll never go back to the Most High. They don't go to the Most High to inquire of the Most High. Our people don't do that. They always go back to who? They always go back to who? Is Edom. They believe in a system, right? And it's like I saw yesterday, brother was saying, the brother posted, right? The brother posted on Facebook, he said, listen, brother, we got to start doing our own thing. We got to start growing, right? If you live in an area where you can grow tomato, you can grow whatever you can do, we got to start working. We got to start doing things slowly, right? You can raise your own chicken if you live in a very decent area, right? You got to raise your own chicken. You can get your own eggs and things like that. You see what I'm saying? We got to start doing. You can homeschool your own children. You can homeschool your children. You see what I'm saying? There's so many things we can do. We don't have to rely on them. You see what I'm saying? Like the Most High allowed me, right? This year I was able to plant like so many tomatoes. You see what I'm saying? But at least for the next 2 months, I don't need to buy tomato. At least for the next 2 months, I don't need to buy tomato. Because I got plenty. The Most High bless me with plenty tomato. You see what I'm saying? And I believe the brother, you can do it. Right? You can raise up a couple of chickens, things like that. You know, for the eggs and or whatever you want to raise it for the meat. And then at the feast, the high holy feast day of the Most High, hey, listen, you slaughter your chicken. You see what I'm saying? It belongs to you. You slaughter it. You do what you got to do. You see what I'm saying? We got to start learning. Because for us to be able to keep fully the commandment, we got to cut ourselves. We got to separate ourselves from this heathen. We got to cut ourselves loose from them. Because as long as we continue to go to them, they're always going to bring us to what? To their weakness. Shalom, King. Shalom, shalom. They're always going to bring us to their weakness, right? So without any further ado, let's go right here, right? As you can already see on the news, these past 2 or 3 days, I'll say, almost like 2 weeks now, right? You notice there's some going on, right? So Esau, Edom, as you already know, Esau, Edom, they don't keep it home, right? Esau never keep it home. You see what I'm saying? Shalom, King, shalom, King, shalom, shalom, shalom. All praise be unto the Most High. Esau, they won't keep it home, right? Now, I want to bring some article I want to read just to expose. That's the thing our people don't understand. Our people in the Christian church, right? They're so blind that they don't understand. Like, Christianity is the worst thing that happened to our people. I tell you, like, how many times I've talked to my mother, my father, they won't listen. They don't believe it. They don't believe it, I'm telling you. They don't believe it. Like my own father, my own, how many times we prove everything, guess what? They say, no, man. Like the worst thing that have happened to the so-called blacks, Latino and Native is Christianity and Islam, man. Those two religions that Esau made with the Ishmaelite, those two religions destroy the so-called blacks, Latino and Native in straight up, man. I tell you, our people, it doesn't matter what you do. Maybe when the Mosai strike them, like when the Mosai put 1, 3, 10 to death together, then some of them may repent, right? Watch this. So I want to bring this out. Bear with me. I want to bring it out quick, right? So watch this, right? So right now, as you can see, right? I got couple like news right here. I want to bring it out quick. Let me just bring this out quick. I want to address this first. Let's see. I want to show you so you can see the weakness, the hypocrisy of these people. They're very, very hypocrite. Very super hypocrite, and they're wicked. There's nothing you can do to make it better. You can't change it. But people don't understand. Watch this. Okay. Let me see. Okay. I want to show you something powerful. Right? Right? Let me see what I want to. Right, I'm gonna show you quick. Because we know, man, Esau is Esau, man. Esau was trying to feed what dog unto our forefather Isaac, man. When you go read in the legend of the Jews, guess what? Esau, when he went hunting, when Esau went hunting, right? When Esau went hunting, guess what? Esau went hunting. The Mosai doesn't want to give him anything, right? So what did he do? He killed a dog, man, and dressed the dog and brought it to our father Isaac. The Mosai already saw it, man. He brought the dog meat to our father Isaac. Imagine that, man. Esau is wicked, man. Right? Watch this. I want to show you this, man. So this website, I'll say fair use for YouTube, things like that. And for YouTube, we want to put out there YouTube copyright things. If you hear the music in the background or the music that be playing in the background, it's not our music for YouTube, all right? For YouTube, copyright thing, disclaimer, the music is not ours, right? You see that? All right? It says Daily Shabbat or Daily Sabah, right? Daily Sabah. Let's read the title. It says, Canada won't recognize Taliban as government of Afghanistan. Okay, Trudeau. So this is an Edomite, right? The Edomite that Satan set up over Canada, all right? His name is Justin Trudeau. Keep in mind, all right? His forefather go back to the French. His forefather go back to the French, okay? Because his name is a French name, okay? In French, we say Justin Trudeau, right? It's a French name, right? So his forefather go back to what? To the so-called French, which literally is Edom. This is Edom, right? So let's see what he got to say. Because Esau is the most wicked of all the nations. Of all the nations, Esau is the most wicked. There's nothing you can do. You see them? Take a look at them very well. Take a look at this devil, right? Take a look at this oppressor. This is our oppressor. This is one of the million of our oppressors, right? This is the people that are praying for our destruction every day, man. This demon right here, right? So let's read what he said, right? He said, Canada refuses to recognize the Taliban as the legitimate government of Afghanistan. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said Tuesday as the militant group took control of Afghanistan and a transitional government was formed. So keep in mind, who is this guy? Who is this devil to tell other people, right? Because the Taliban, right, they're in the land. The Taliban, they're in the land. What do we have to go in somebody else's property? Over here in America, they have something they call what? Trespassing. You can't go to even your neighbor's house. You can't go unless your neighbor tell you to come. Because if you go over there, they can shoot you, right? They can kill you. They can do so many things to you. But guess what? That law only applies here in America. That law does not work in Afghanistan. You see how they play the game? That law only applies in Canada. Because imagine, you got to be very wicked, right? He dare tell another people, right? A group of people, right? That they won't recognize them. Why? Because it's not going to go for the agenda, right? Because the Taliban are not going to bow down to them. You see, that's the problem with Esau. When Esau realized that you are not going down with his agenda, guess what? They'll demonize you. Who is he? The Taliban, they're in the country. Anyway, what is Canada? What are so-called white people doing in Afghanistan? What are they doing? Are they from Afghanistan? No. So what they're doing? They're stealing the resources of the country. That's what they do, man. What do? They're going to your country. They come in your country like they want to make peace. The next thing you realize, they start sucking the blood of your children. That's what they do, man. They start sucking up the blood of your children. That's Esau. Esau, Edom. You go to Genesis chapter 25 and verses 25. You can read 23 through 25. So keep in mind, who is he to tell the Taliban that, okay, well, you know, we are not going to recognize. Who is he? As if this guy right here, he can stand before the Taliban and tell them that. Can he stand before this Taliban? He already know what's going to happen to him. He already know. This Edomite, listen, he can only stay in Canada to run his mouth. He can only stay in Canada to run his mouth. Can he literally put himself before the Taliban and open his mouth and tell them something like that? He can't do it. He's not born yet. I'm not joking. He can't do that. Because they're going to lay him into the grave. They'll lay him into the grave. This demon right here, they will. Okay, understand that? And this Taliban, they're working for the Mossad. Right? They're the agent of the Mossad on the left inside. Understand that? The Taliban, they're working for the Mossad. It's just that a lot of people don't understand. So they took over the country. The British, like they took over the land of the Native Indian. The same thing. Right? That's what they did. The British, they conquered Afghanistan for 200 years. Right? So, if Justin Trudeau, right? That's how hypocrite Esau is. Okay, they said they don't recognize the Taliban, right? Government, right? Right? They don't recognize, so okay. Why did the Native Indian recognize the government of the so-called white people in Canada? Why? Why do the so-called Native Indian, the so-called Latino, why do they recognize the government of the United States? So we should boycott it. The brothers should boycott it too. You see what I'm saying? So what are you talking about? Watch your mouth, man. Watch your mouth, the thing that you say. Because a lot of you think you went to the school that set you up a puppet and you're happy, you just talk nonsense, okay? So you want to tell the Taliban, right? Which is, they're in their own land. Right? That's their own land. The Taliban, they're in their own land, right? Now, you, Justin Trudeau, or you so-called white people, so-called white people in America, all right, in Australia, right, in South Africa, right, in Canada, that's not your land, man. And Europe is not your land either. We know where you came from. Where did the so-called white people came from? Where did they come from? Let's prove it. Let's prove where they came from first. Let's go to the Mossad. We're going to ask the Mossad. We're going to ask the Mossad, what is the origin of the so-called white people? Let's go right here. Let's go to Genesis. Let's go in the beginning. We're going to see what is the origin of the so-called white people. Did they come from Europe? Did they come from America, so-called white people? Let's find it out. Let's go in the beginning. We'll go to the Most High. Let us inquire of the Most High. And we'll see where did they come from. Let's go to it, right? This is the book of Genesis chapter 36. Let's read it. This is the book of Genesis chapter 36 and verses 1. Now, these are the generation of Esau, who is Edom. Now, if you don't know who is Esau, Edom, you go in the book of Genesis chapter 25 and you read about it. Esau, Edom are the so-called white people. All right, keep in mind, that's the biblical nationality. They ain't no French, they ain't no British, none of those things. The name God gave them is Esau, Edom. Right? The Chaldean. And the list goes on and on. All right, let's read it. It said Esau took his wife. Esau took his wives. Hold on a second. Of the daughter of Canaan. Ada, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. Right? Let's jump right here. Let's jump to verses 5. And Aboliabama, Be, Jeush, and Jelam, and Korah. These are the sons of Esau, which were born unto him in the land of Canaan. So understand, you know what is the land of Canaan? A lot of you out there in the Christian church, you don't even know what is the land of Canaan. That's what we call today Jerusalem. Right? That was the land. Canaan. Where is Canaan located? It's Jerusalem. Right? So Esau was born literally in Jerusalem, in Samaria in Jerusalem. He was born there. And later on, let's see where the Mosai moved him to. Right? Let's see where the Mosai moved him to. Okay? Let's see where the Mosai moved him to. And we're going to look it up. We're going to show you. All right? Let's jump to verse 6. This is the book of Genesis 36 and verse 6. And Esau took his wives, so the so-called white men. Back in those days, he used to have 3 wives. Some of them still do until this very last day. They got 3 wives, 4 wives, 20 wives. Right? All assembly today, you can have 2 wives in America. You can do it, but hey, it's going to be hard. Hey, you might lose your life. If the Mosai allow you to do it, our presence. But we don't suggest, we don't advise any brother to do anything like that in this kingdom. We're in captivity right now. Right? You focus on your one wife. Your one wife, and it's fine. In the kingdom, the Mosai will give you more wives. Understand that? You stand in the spirit right now. All right? So Esau used to have so many wives. All assembly, he said, no, you can only have 1 wife. But you can commit what fornication. You can have 1 wife, and you can have a mistress outside. You can have a girlfriend. Or you can go cheat on your wife. Right? Or you can go cheat on your husband. Esau said, yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you do whatever you want to do. Okay? Understand that? So let's read. He said, Esau took his wives, and his sons, and his daughters, and all the person of his house, and his cattle, and all his beasts, and all his substance, which he had got in the land of Canaan. Right? In the land of Canaan. Watch this. And went into the country from the face of his brother Jacob. For the Mosai does not want them to live together. The Mosai does not want them to live together. Understand that? YAHAWAH does not want them to live together. Okay? Right? It's all about the will of the Mosai. It's not about how you feel. It's not about your feelings. All right? Understand that? Right? All right? Okay? Watch this. Let's read it. Let's jump right here. It says, this is the book of Genesis 36 and verses 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. You understand that? Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. Understand that? So Esau dwelling in Mount Seir. Mount Seir, right? So what is Mount Seir? Let me prove. Let me go back. I'm going to back up a little bit. Genesis 32 and 3. Right? Genesis 32 and 3. Let's back up again just to show you something. Okay? This is the book of Genesis. Genesis 32, right? And verses 3. All right? This is the book of Genesis chapter 32 and verses 3. Let me show you something great, right? Genesis 32 and verses 3. And Jacob sent messenger before him to Esau his brother unto the land of Seir. You understand that? Unto the land of Seir. So Jacob, he lived where? In Jerusalem, in the land of Canaan. And Esau, he lived where? In the land of what? Seir, in the cave, in the mountain of what? Seir. All right? In the caves of the region of the country known as Seir. It's written as S-E-I-R, right? The country of Edom. So Edom, Esau country is Seir. That's where they originated from. And they start waging war toward the north. Like they start with Jerusalem, right? Right? During the time of our forefathers when they were taken to war into Babylon, the first Babylon, right? And they took over our land. And slowly they conquer every nation till this very last day. Understand that, right? So let's go back to it. Genesis 36, right? Let's read it. Genesis 36 and verses 9. It said, verses 8. It said, thus dwell Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. And these are the generation of Esau, the father of the Edomite in Mount Seir. In Mount Seir. Let's take a look at Mount Seir. What is Mount Seir? Let's take a look at it. We're going to read about it.
How are you? Nice to see you.
Good, good, good. How are you? Good?
Very good.
Good to see you. Good to see you. How's everything? Good?
Very good, thank you.
Awesome. Let's go right here. Let's check it out. I want to prove it. Mount Seir. Let's see what is Mount Seir. So you can understand the cunningness of Esau Edom. They're cunning, man. They're super cunning, man. Really? They're super cunning. Let's see. Let's see. Location of Seir, or Mount Seir. Let's see. Right. We're going to ask Google, where is Mount Seir located at? Okay. Let's ask Google. Okay. Let's ask Google and we're going to read it. Location of Mount Seir. Right? The cave of Seir. Let's see what Google got to say. It popped up right away, man. There we go, man. There we go. You can't make this stuff up, man. Right? Mount Seir. You see that? Mount Seir. It might be a little bit blurry, but you get the point. All right? Mount Seir, right? Right? Keep in mind, Mount Seir. So let's read it. It said, Mount Seir is the ancient and biblical name for a mountainous, you say mountain, the caves. That's why they call themselves Caucasian. Satan give them that name. They call themselves Caucasian, right? Because they love to dwell in the caves, right? They love to dwell in the caves, all right? Let's read it. Say what? For a mountainous region stretching between the Dead Sea, you know what is the Dead Sea? Do you have an idea what is the Dead Sea? Right? I'm going to click on the map. Watch this. And the Gulf of Aqaba in the northwestern region of Edom. You see that? It confirms everything. Northern region of Edom. Edom is Esau. Edom. All right? Right? The northern what? Let's read it. Northern western region of Edom and southeast of the kingdom of Judah. So they were located on the southeast of what? Of the land of Judah, right? It may also have marked the other historic limit of ancient Egypt in Canaan. So let's click on images. I want image, right? Let's see, and I'm gonna tell you what is here exactly. All right, there we go, right here. Let's see. Google will show it to us, man. Google will show everything. Take a look at it. You see that? You see where white people came from originally? This is where they came from originally. You see, it tells you right there, Mountain Seir. You see that? Right after Arava Valley, the valley of Arava. You see that? Right after, it tells you right there, Mount Seir, the green one. It said what? It said Edomite territory. You see that? Edomite territory. Understand that? Let no man fool you, man. They can't teach this in a Christian church. In a Christian church, they can't teach this. They can't break this down. They can't do that. Right? It said Edomite territory. Right? 600 BC. It says 600 years before Yahawashi, before Christ, until what? 1446. So they left the land in 1446 and they start conquering everybody. They start taking over everybody's land. And the capital of what? Of Mount Seir, it was what? Petra. Right? Petra. Right? So keep in mind. Keep in mind. So what did they do? They invade every nation. Understand that? They stole from everybody. So why does he got a God? He got a God to tell the Taliban in their land. The land that the Mosai allotted to this hidden, to this Taliban. Right? Is their land. I say here in America, they call something trespassing. You can go to the jail for that. You go into your neighbor or somebody else's property without them allowing you to go over there. It's called trespassing. You get arrested, you go to the jail, and they're going to press charges, so many charges against you. The federal, the state, right? The county, the government, all they all press charges against you. Understand that? But he got a gun to tell the Taliban in their own land that what? That they will not recognize them. But why did the native Indian recognize the so-called white people government? Why? So if that's the case, let's suppose he's talking about righteousness. That's how you know that these people, they don't care about you and me. They do not care. They know very well that what? The time is at hand. They know yes or no. Let's go right here, man. And he's not the only one, right? Because we saw in the beginning, what? Pharaoh Joe Laden, he said what? Pharaoh Joe Laden in the White House, what did he say in the beginning? He said they're going to evacuate it. They're going to take what? All the troops from Afghanistan. And that thing they say, yeah, we evacuated. It's only left a little bit of the personal. The next thing you realize, last week, in secret, there was what? 3,000 people, military, that been sent down. 3,000 troops being sent down again to Afghanistan. And today, the number went up to what? 7,000. 7,000. I know a sister. The sister, right? The sister, either she's Benjamin, Levi, or Judah. She's from Ghana. The sister was telling me that one of her friends, you know, is crying. They're crying right now because their son was deployed to go into Afghanistan. And they're concerned, the parents, their money, like they're crying because they think maybe he might get put to death over there. And it is what it is, man. If he get put, I told the sister, it is what it is. I told the sister, maybe the Moses want him to die over there. It is what it is. If you go over there and you get put to death, it is what it is. All praise be unto the Moses YAHAWAH. It's a free flight, right? You want a free flight, right? Because that's what the government give you, a free flight from Washington, D.C. straight to Kabul. You want a free flight? Hey, listen, hey, go to the government. They got a free flight for you. A free flight from Washington, D.C., or maybe wherever you located, right? The military base is Fort Lauderdale in Maryland. Is a free flight from Maryland all the way down to Kabul in Afghanistan. Hey, you can have it. You can have it. We pray that you don't die. If you die, hey, all praise be unto the Most High. Because we didn't tell you to join Israel military. It's your own will, man. It's your own will. You do your own will. Right? You're supposed to be joining the military of the Most High. You're supposed to be in the rank of the brother, the sister that teach the Lord the commandment of the Most High. That's the military you're supposed to join. Not joining the enemy military and go abroad and kill civilian, other people. Where you go out dropping bombs on people, killing people, right? Pointing gun at people, scaring people, traumatizing people. Because you're the real terrorist. America is the #1 terrorist in the world. They're the one that terrorizes everybody. The Canadian, so-called Canadian, Justin through the race, they're the #1 that terrorizes everybody. They're the one that went to Afghanistan. Who are in Afghanistan? Who took over the land? The French. You got the French military, right? You got the German, you got the American, you got the British, you got the Canadian, and the list goes on. They're all in cahoots. They're ISO. ISO, they link together. ISO is ISO. Right? Because they're the wicked. Watch this. I just got the news right now. Right? Watch this. This is happening because the Taliban, right, is the land. So they've been asking for something. They've been demanding for something. So what happened? They put the president on the run. The puppet president, right? They put him on the run. They put him on the run, right? They put the puppet president on the run. And what happened? They took over what? The office of the president. They took over pretty much a lot of stuff. It's their land. It's not our land. All right? We can't do anything about it. So why are you meddling in other people's businesses? Right? The Mosai say, you got to mind your own business. Mind your own business. But Esau never mind his own business. They don't keep it at home, man. Watch this. I just got this news. Let's see. Let's read that. I want to read it. You see, it's happening right now as we're speaking right now. As we're speaking right now, it's happening right now. Right? Okay. We right here on Google.com. Google.com. We're going to read from Pharaoh Joe Laden. Let's read from Pharaoh Joe Laden, right? He said, The Guardian. Fair use is from The Guardian, right? Right? The Guardian News or Guardian.com. The Guardian.com. So keep in mind, fair use, right? For YouTube, and you already know. He said, Taliban have not changed, said Biden, as U.S. military evacuation ritual 7,000. Imagine he's speaking as I'm live right now. He's live right now. Pharaoh Joe Biden, he's addressing his people live right now. He's addressing all the Edomites throughout the fucking of this earth right now as we're speaking. Right now he's live in where? Washington D.C. Right? He said they have not changed. Why do you want them to change? So you want them to be homosexual, right? You want them to be drug dealers, right? You want them to do more evil. But who gave gun to this Taliban? Who did it? Who gave them gun? Who gave them gun? It's the same people. Is Edom. It's the United States of America, China, right? Saudi Arabia.
Very good.
Hey, good. Yeah.
Oh, good, very good, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to see you again.
Good to see you, bro.
Yeah.
Right? You got to keep in mind, right? Who provide weapons to this Afghanistan? Who provide them weapons? You got Saudi Arabia. You got the Qatari or Qatar. You got the US. You got the French. You got the German. You got the Chinese. You got the Russian. They're all in Afghanistan. Because Afghanistan is rich in drugs. It's a plant that they call opium. It's a drug. It's a drug that the United States of America needs. That China, the French, Canada, they need these drugs. The pharmacy, this big pharmacy, they need this drug. So they go have it, they go grow these drugs over there. It's called opium. And they bring it up all over the place and they sell it. That's the business they be doing there. You know, under who? Under who? George W. Bush. What happened? They lied under the false flags and they invade the country as they have done. Like the forefathers, the so-called British, they have done. They invaded the country 200 years. For 200 years. They conquered Afghanistan for 200 years. And it's not enough for them. Because they ain't got no shame. They're wicked, man. They took over the land for 200 years. And that was not enough for them. Guess what? They still come out of the same country. Why? Because they want to suck all the blood. That's what Esau does. Right? Esau wants to make sure he suck all the blood from you till you drop dead. Once you drop dead, then that's it. So the Taliban, guess what? They're in their absolute right, man. That's their land, man. That's not your business. It's none of your business. It's not the business of America. It's not the business of Canada or France, Germany, England, none of those things. Guess what? The Western, overall, what did they say? They said they are not going to recognize the Taliban. Why? Because they won't be able to turn the Taliban into homosexual. They won't be able to turn the Taliban into pedophile. Right? They won't be able to turn them into what, drug addicts like they have done to the so-called blacks, Latino, and Native. They won't be able to do it. They won't be able to deceive them. They understood that they won't be able to deceive the Taliban. But who provide the Taliban the gun? The machine gun that the Taliban, who made those guns? The number one country is what? The USA, Russia, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, right? England, France, Germany. They're the number one, man. They're the number one that manufacture weapon. They manufacture weapon. So what are you talking about? Why are you talking about the Taliban, man? Who provide them all these things? Who sell the gun? This weapon to the Qatari, to the Saudi, right? To the Emirate Arab. Who sell them all these weapons where they go out and they turn out and give it to this Taliban so they can wage a war, a religious war. They call it a religious war. That's what you see. Because religion was designed, was made by who? Esau, Edom, and his father Satan. Right? Let's go. Let's prove it here. To prove you that they're the most wicked. Let's go right here. Let's go back to the Most High. Let us inquire of the Most High. Let's go in the book of Genesis. Let's go to Genesis. Right here. Let's go to Genesis. Right, we're going to prove it. Let's go right here in the book of Genesis. Let's read it. Let's read it. Let's prove it. We're going to prove it. Because a lot of you out there, you know nothing. You're simple. And you don't know anything. Because Esau already deceived you. Okay? Esau already deceived you. Right? Where you don't understand anything. You don't know what's going on. Do you know what's going on? You don't know because you're blind. You're blind. Your mama blind you. Your mama lied to you. Your mama and your daddy, they lied to you. The Christian church, they lied to you. And you believe it. We're going to prove it to you, man. Let's see. What did the Mosai say about Esau Edom? Let's see what the Mosai say about Esau Edom. All right? What did the Mosai say about Esau Edom? Before the death, our forefather was Isaac. What did he say? What did he do? Let us read it. Right? Let us go to it. Let me grab my other Bible. Let's prove it. Let's go to it. Let's go. As I told you. We're going to see. We're going to learn about Esau Edom. We're going to learn about Esau Edom. Right? Let's go right here. This is the book of Genesis. Bear with me. Right, Genesis 27. Let's go to it. Genesis chapter 27. All right, straight up to the point. Let's go to that. All right, let me see the verses that I want. Genesis 27 and maybe from verse 39. Right? This is the book of Genesis. Okay? And verses 39. Genesis 27 and 39. Genesis 27 and 39. And it reads, And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, Behold, thou dwelling, because remember, he's supposed to go dress a venison to his father. But the Mosai did not give him the venison, because the Mosai is the one that gives you whatsoever you need. So the Mosai said, this time, I'm going to confirm you, because the blessing is not for you. The blessing is for my son. It's for Jacob. You ain't got no blessing with me. I'll give you blessing, but it won't be like unto my son. So the Mosai, he hid all the venison away from him. All the venison the Mosai hide them away. The Mosai moved the spirit. He ain't caught anything. So what did Esau did? He went and killed a dog. He killed a dog and cooked it and brought it to his father to eat. That's what he did. You don't read that account. You cannot read that account in the regular Bible, right? You can't read that in the regular Bible. But you got to go in the history of our forefather, the history of the so-called blacks, right? It's written in this book. It's called The Legion of the Jew, right? This is a good book. The Legion of the Jew. You got volume 1 and volume 2, or you can buy the complete. If you buy the complete, you got all the info right there, all right? So keep in mind, that's what he did. He went and slaughtered a dog and brought it to his father to eat, man. That's what he did. That's Esau Edom. That is spirit. And now you can do about it. Right? There's nothing you can do about it. Right? That's what he did, man. Let me see. Let me see if I can, if I can get it, right? Let me see if I can read that. Okay? Let's see what he did. Okay? That's what he did, man. He went and killed a dog. That's why they love dogs, man. That's why they be kissing dogs all over the place. That's why they be kissing dogs all over the place. Bear with me, brother. I'm going to bring it out. I'm going to read it, right? And you can get this book off Amazon. You can get it on Amazon, Kings. You can get it on Amazon, brother. You can do that, all right? So let us see. Let me just go ahead and bring it out. I'm trying to